Hello, hello, and welcome back to Awakening, Sacred Sacraments and Expanded States of Consciousness as a Path to Enlightenment and Unity. I'm your host, Megan Camille, the co-founder with my mother, Michelle Lee, of the Sophia Mystery School. And on today's episode, we'll be diving deep with Alexia Vlahos Kolakasides. Oh, so close, but not quite. Welcome, Alexia.
Hi, Megan. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for having me here. I'm really excited. And you did really well with that last name. It's
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
I'm really excited for our time together today.
Yes, Alexia, I love your story. I've read your bio, but I would love for you to tell your story of how you came to be who you are today and serving in the way that you do. How did it all?
Okay. I'll try and keep it short. So I am an intuitive transformational soul journey coach. I started off as a life coach, but I'll start before that. I was born and raised in South Africa, left there when I was 21 with my then boyfriend, landed up in Cyprus where my family is. So we're half Greek, half Cypriot. And my whole family had just rooted back into Cyprus. And I came with my boyfriend 2 years later. Things didn't work out, but I stayed in Cyprus. He went back to South Africa. And 6 months later, I met my husband. 8 years later, we got married. We have 2 kids, Cristiano and Sophia. And in around 2011, I came across NLP, and it really intrigued me because I had actually gone to see a professional, an osteopath, to support me with some issues I was having in my body, some pain, right? Physical pain. And I had enjoyed so much his sessions that we were having together. I just came out of that room feeling so amazing, so light, so, joyful. And I didn't know why. I really did not know why these sessions were so amazing. But on the last session, I made a point to look at his certificates on the wall, and one of them said NLP. So of course I went and I Googled NLP. This was back in 2011. And I started to read up on what this was. And for me, it sounded like an incredible tool to learn and to apply in my own life. I ended up going for an 11, 12-day intensive training in Dubai in October 2011. When I got back about a month later, I found out I was pregnant. When we had been trying for nearly 9 months to get pregnant. I was pregnant after that, found our dream home, moved into that. And I was basically living my dream life. And then when I had my firstborn, Cristiano, he's now 10, I was still in my corporate job, but in my heart, I knew that wasn't where I was meant to be. I knew that there was something more that I was supposed to be serving the world with. And it had to do with my coaching. It had to do with my natural gifts. But I still stayed on. Like I stayed on in that job because it was safe, because it was, it was comfortable. And then when Sophia came along, my second born, I was pregnant with Sophia in the 3rd trimester. And I will never forget the day. Yeah, I forgot to get that ready. Sorry. Said Sophia, the catalyst. Just give me a second. Sorry. So I was pregnant with Sophia in the 3rd trimester. And I remember the day when I turned to my husband, I said to him, babe, I can't go back to the office. I was on maternity leave. And I just told him, I can't go back to the office. I just cannot go back there. I was feeling, sick. I was feeling that deep knowing that you can't go back to those 4 walls. And although that job, I was there for 15 years, it was great. It served me so much. And I'm so grateful. But it was, I was done. I was done with that container. And being pregnant with Sophia was the catalyst for me, was the opportunity, the window for me to get out of that and step into a doorway where there was a whole new world of, yes, being mom to my child. For 2 years, I stayed home with her. I raised her. And when she was ready to go to kindergarten, nursery school, whatever it is, she went on to that. And then that's when I started to say, okay, now is where I get to walk the talk, because I did attempt to be home, be a stay-at-home mom with a newborn baby and a 4-year-old and try and run my business. But I won't lie, it was very challenging for me. So I just put it to the side, and I did what I was meant to be doing in that time, in those months, in those 2 years, and that was focus on my kids and my well-being. And then as soon as the time came, I bolted, I really started to focus on my business. I started to ask the questions, okay, how am I meant to serve? How do I get to grow my business? How do I reach people? And then things just started to open up for me. The right people started to come in. I hired a mentor. I started to, do my own beautiful events. I started to receive clients from around the world. And, I never really thought to myself, with the mindset that I had, that I would be a global, coach or a global mentor. But my first mentor, she saw me that way. And that's how I was able to see what she was reflecting back to me. And, that was 2016 when Sophia was born. 2018, I really started to okay, this is what I'm doing. This is my life. And I'm in service. I'm committed. And I'm here to walk the path of light. And that's what it's been shown to me my whole life, actually. There's so many codes that have always been guiding me throughout my life. Christ consciousness. And, later on, I realized, okay, my kids are called Sophia and Cristiano.
I was going to say, there's the
But for me,
the feminine.
Yes. For me, I only realized that later, along my own growth and along my own path of growth and my own personal spiritual journey. And I was like, oh, okay, now I realize, because being Greek, we really tend to give our kids the names of our parents. And I was very against that when I had my kids. I really wanted them to have their own names, and they have their own identity, their own frequency, their own signature. Sophia came, I had 4 options on her paper, and we didn't choose a name until she was physically in my arms when she was born. And she told me she was Sophia. So she was Sophia, and my son was the same. Yeah.
So powerful to have. It's the feminine God, the masculine God, Christ consciousness. I love it. And so how are you supporting people today? I mean, you do some amazing work. How does that look now that you've taken that path and you're here?
Yeah. So today, thanks for asking that question. My work has really evolved, over the years. Starting off, it was very mindset work, bringing people into alignment with who they want to be, where they want to go in their lives. It still is that, but it's evolved like tenfold, meaning I am very in tune with the energetic side of supporting people and coaching women. So my clients are women. I support very, powerful women, heart-centered women, awakened women, so that they can live the life beyond the world's standards, not according to the perceptions of the world, but according to the perceptions of their highest self, and how that weaves into their physical reality. I help them to embody their sovereignty. I support them to design a life that is in alignment with where their soul wants to take them and what their soul wants to show them. And it can be quite scary sometimes. I always tell my clients, your soul is going to take you through fire to get you to where you're meant to be. And we need support for that. We need support to walk through that fire. We're not meant to be walking through fire alone. And I'm sure you're very well aware with your work as well, that when you have that community and that tribe and the soul family, things are so much more easier to process and to move through. You don't feel alone. You feel that you're doing it for just more than yourself. You're not doing it just for yourself. So I work with light codes. I activate people, their hearts. I'm a heart activator. I'm a code keeper. When I'm coaching my clients and supporting them with their, with their decisions. I'm not the type of coach who will tell people what to do. I pass the ball to my clients and help them see their power, help them see how empowered they can be through all their challenges. And that ultimately starts at the heart level. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. And something that we had talked about before we started this was choosing the golden pathway of Eden. And this is, I think it's such a great topic because as you spoke about that your soul will take you through fire. And just maybe over the summer or so, I had actually experienced the Garden of Eden. And my very first realization with it was, oh, it was always already here. And what was required for me to be able to see that which was already here was the fire. It was the fire. So I would love to know how, like, what are your ideas on moving through the fire and even the importance of such thing for our awakening? And do you see it as being part of the pathway to the to the golden pathway to Eden?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely do. I mean, I think the fire refines us, brings out our own personal codes, and it actually, I don't like to use the word force, but it actually Sophia, I'm going to interview. If yes. If yes. Bye-bye. So it actually it brings you looking back, you gotta just move forward. You gotta move forward. You gotta embrace the fire. You gotta become one with that fire, because when you become one with that fire, you're actually burning away what is no longer of you, what is not you. And parts of us are scattered around. We how can I put it? We end up having so many parts of ourselves in different dimensions, in different realities, in the past, in the future, past lives. And when we are in the fire, I think that is a golden opportunity which helps us to see which parts of ourselves we haven't seen, we've rejected, or we've avoided bringing into one. I hope this makes sense. It's almost like you're in a challenge, you're moving through a challenge, or you're faced with something that's requiring a lot from you. But in essence, that challenge is actually bringing out that next higher version of yourself. Any challenge that comes in your life, we're all equipped to move through our challenges, but we get our emotions get the best of us. Our drama and panic gets the best of us. But if we can come into that sacred space in our hearts, that space where because the heart is the first organ that actually comes alive in the fetus, right? The first organ that starts to beat, the first organ that starts to be created. And I believe that's that's the portal which brings you into your peace. It brings you into your quietness, into your essence. And in that essence, you're able to see the truth of who you are. You're able to be neutral so that you can make the decision, the pain, bring all parts of you back into wholeness and live your day through that wholeness. And it requires practice, Megan. It's not like it's going to happen in a day. I've been at this since 2011, and I have my stuff every day, as well. And I'm sure you do. And we all do. And this is the journey of life. It's the beauty of life.
And like you said, the fire helps us to burn away that which no longer serves us.
Yep.
And that recognition, in my most expanded states of consciousness, I really am aware of how much living I'm doing in lots of other dimensions, yes, all past or future, and how to actually, so full self-actualization is going to help bring all of that into one alignment instead of maybe suffering terror over here and
Yes.
elation
Yes.
over here. And then this experience is like kind of bouncing in between. So what I'm hearing is that the bringing together of all ourselves.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
What does Eden look like to you? I mean, what does it mean to you? Is this when people talk about heaven on earth? Is it when they talk about the upper room? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, it's a great question. Eden for me, just hold on. So Eden for me, I mean, as I'm speaking to you, I'm looking at a big piece of paper that I drew while I was on retreat last year in Costa Rica. It's quite messy, but this is my Eden. It's where I'm unified in my heart between my masculine and my feminine. I am in deep touch with myself and with my children, and my family is thriving, and we get to choose our higher reality every single day. Eden for me is also where I'm serving the world, and I'm making a difference. It's also where there's no more suffering. There's that our children are safe. All children are safe, and all children are, holy, because part of my work and part of, I think, every light worker's work and starseed's work is that we're here to lift the planet. What may be something that's, I don't know, trapped some souls or trapped some lives in a dark matrix that they shouldn't be in, but they are nonetheless. And I think if each one of us are plugged into our heaven on earth, our Eden, what you call your Eden, what I call my Eden, when we're plugged into that, we're actually vibrating at a very high frequency. We are happy, we are joyful, we're moving through our challenges, with intention, not from a place of suffering. I mean, it's very easy to go through a challenge and have the, oh, woe is me, I'm suffering, why me, energy and attitude. But I think I've evolved quite a lot from that, and I see every challenge as okay, how is this working for me, and how do I get to actually, who am I supposed to be in this call forward, and how do I get to actually serve through this place? Because I know that every challenge has a gift. I know that every challenge is there to trigger another stream of light, another code to be activated in my life and in the field. So, okay, it's going to pass. It is here to support humanity. It is here to actually grow us. So Eden for me is that expansion. It's being able to continuously be that, like a beacon of light, a supporter, an activator, and creating a movement in the world, a movement where people step up to their plate and start to activate their own lives and start to activate their field to create their Eden. There's a lot there, but I'm trying to decipher this vision, this paper that I have in front of me, but there's a lot here, and there's land, there's the sea, there's a lot of the elements. So there's a lot involved in this Eden. But in the practical sense, my Eden is where I am showing up every single day, and I'm of service. I'm in my truth, and I continue to be of service to the divine light. That's my Eden.
I love that. And this idea that as we're in that space, living each day from there, that it actually supports in maybe those heavier or denser matrices or dimensions. I hear this often, like, what do we do about those, right? Like about that, about the suffering that's still there. Well, it is to learn how to be in a higher vibration, right? Because all aspects of ourselves ascend. We actually can't leave one behind, right? And so as we're ascending, we're calling forward all aspects of self.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you mentioned the suffering. And one thing through my own journey that I've discovered is the allowing of my own suffering instead of resistance, then transmutes it, right? Like if I
Yeah.
can lean into maybe some of those shadow experiences or even lifetimes that I've been able to tap into instead of going like, how do I go and rescue her and save her and get her out of there? It would actually be to go in and hold space for it
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
belong. And then eventually it just lifts, right? It's almost like
Yes.
a
Yeah.
resistance that keeps us kind of imprisoned, I guess. So I love your whole take on Eden. That is beautiful. I can so relate. I would also like to have some time for you to
Thank you.
walk the audience through your own personal process that we had talked about earlier. I'm going to
Okay.
hand it to you. What is the process?
Okay.
How is it supportive?
Can you just pause? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd love to share a process that I use. And this is something I teach to my clients. It is called the Purpa. I actually learned this back in my training in 2011, and I still use it today. It is so powerful. To think about is something that is you think is keeping you stuck, something that you think is like holding you back. And I'll give you an example so that you can make like a tangible connection. When my husband first tried this tool, he was wanting to make moves in his business. He was wanting to take more responsibility, take more ownership, and grow his business. But something was holding him back. And when he finally like put his finger on it, it was that he believed he wasn't organized enough. So you can imagine it sounds simple and small, right? But this was really holding him back in a big way. And this was back in 2011. It was right after my training. I had come back from my training from Dubai, and I was walking down the promenade. We lived near the sea, and I was walking with my trainer who actually trained me. He lives on the island. That's another story. But and he was walking my husband through this process that I had learned during the training. So this whole statement of I'm not organized enough was keeping my husband back from a lot of things in his life. And he's got family businesses that he runs with his brothers. But this thing was holding him back from speaking up, was holding him back from making decisions, was holding him back from believing that he had like a say in the managerial and business decisions in the businesses. So when he finally decided that, okay, I'm ready to release this, and he finished the process, looking back, like back to 2011, it's been a world of change. He's gone on to open a third business, and it's amazing. It's really powerful. And another client, she cleared one of her biggest blocks, which was around worthiness. And she wasn't even using anything that stated worthiness in this tool that I'm going to teach you. Her statement was just that, what was it? My family believes I'm, what was the word? Dingy. My family believes I'm dingy. And she carried that with her throughout her whole life. Okay. Yeah. And it affected everything around her worthiness. So when we worked on that, oh my God, that was huge. That was huge for her. So I will teach you the process. You first have to connect with what is holding you back. What is the number one thing that's like bothering you right now? What do you think that's holding you back? For some people, it could be, I don't have time. And that's a bit controversial, but it can be, I don't have time. I don't have support. Could be, I don't know enough. It could be, I'm not ready. It could be so many things. I don't have enough money. Whatever it is, whatever you think is holding you back from getting closer to your Eden, right? It's always about embodying your Eden and becoming the version of you that's in your Eden now, not tomorrow, not a week from now, not 5 or 10 years from now, but now. Okay, so you connect with that statement, and it needs to be clear. Do you have a statement, Megan? Do you want to have something you want to work with?
Yes, let me.
Okay, cool.
I do. Do you want me to share it?
It's up to you. You don't have to share it. Okay.
I'm just going to write it down then. Everybody
write it down. Yep, write it down. Okay. So the next step, and if you like, you can stand up when you're doing this practice, because it is going to have a physical like movement. You can stand up when you're doing it, or you can sit down, whatever's up to you, but you need to not have something like in front of you. Sounds a bit weird, but anyway. Okay, so get your statement, and you can close your eyes. Just take a deep breath into your body and into your heart. And I'd like you to connect with that statement in your mind, like bring that to your mind. You're really clearing it.
I'm already yawning, right? Already clearing.
That's so good. Okay, so bring up that statement in your mind, just connect with it in your mind mentally. And see where the consciousness, the energy of that statement is coming up for you in your body. Where is it showing up for you in your body? And wherever that is, don't judge it. It's neutral. And now I would like you to, with your hands, because what's being stored in your body is an energetic mass. It's a consciousness. It has a frequency to it, and it's being stored in your body through this statement. So I would like you to go to that place that your body told you, this is where this is stored, and just pull it out of your body, like physically pull it out. And you're putting it in front of you as a ball of mass. We're collecting it in front of you in an energetic mass. Good. Keep pulling it out. Make sure you get it all out. Good. Now I'd like you need a bit more time to get it all out. Just press pause and continue to pull it out, and then continue the recording. So I would like you to do one more scan of your whole body. Just go from the top of your head all the way down to your toes and scan your body for any remnants or any debris of this energy, of this consciousness, and pull it out. Make sure you get it all out of your body.
There's more in my tummy.
Good. Yeah, I know. And bring it into that mass, that ball that you've. Good. And again, if you need more time, press pause until you're sure that it's all out of your body, and then press play again. You ready, Megan?
I'm ready.
Okay, good. So now I want you to imagine, I didn't say this before, but it's called the Prupa. This technique is called the Prupa, and it's actually based on a Tibetan energy technique using a dagger. So with this energetic mass in front of you, maybe it even has a color for you, maybe it has a sound, whatever it is, you're gonna imagine that with your good hand, whether you're right-handed or left-handed, with your good hand, you're holding this dagger in your hand. And it's a very powerful tool. It has the codes of light in it. And on my count of 3, not now, but on my count of 3, you're gonna strike that ball of mass, and you're gonna strike it knowing that it's gonna disintegrate into the field. And I'm going to open a dry portal where this disintegrated mass portal, and you will never have to deal with that energy ever again. Okay. So feeling the energy of the dagger already, you can feel it streaming up into your arms, and you can feel just the potency of this tool. And on the count of 3, you're going to strike this energy mass, and maybe you'll need to do it 3 times, 4 times, however many times it is for you, so that you see it disintegrating, disappearing into the field. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Strike it. You can physically strike it with your hands. Yep. Make sure you see it disintegrating. And I'm opening a dry portal now, where this disintegrated energy consciousness is being pulled into that dry portal and closing that. So that's done with. You never have to deal with that ever again. And now I would like you to, you can open the palms of your hands. You can keep your eyes closed if you like. And in the palms of your hands, we're going to replace and fill up that space that we've emptied out. So I don't know what everybody's statement was. I don't know the energies of what you cleared, but you can also add your own beautiful, beautiful intentions and new beliefs about yourself in this cup that we're going to fill up now. So I'll put in some general ones, okay? So in your hands, just feel this new sense of, I love myself deeply. I am worthy. I am loved and I am held. There is providence in my life. I'm always provided for. I'm cared for. God supports me. And you can feel the weight of these beautiful intentions and light codes in your hand. And you can add yours to that as well. And with a deep breath in, you can bring your hands up into your heart and receive these into your heart. Breathing in. And allowing it to integrate and submerge and marinate in your cells, in every part of your being. Knowing that this is enacted in all the versions of yourself, in all timelines, all dimensions, and all realities now. And just seeing you surrounded by 4 pillars of divine white light, and anchoring this new reality for you, anchoring this new energy for you. It's good. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you.
Good job.
So good. I mean, I even had visceral reactions, right, of yawning. By the way, everyone, I am not tired. That's just, it's a, right? It's a purging sort of mechanism.
I hope everybody feels supported with that.
Yes.
So just can I quickly say something, like, if it helps you, before you do this technique, maybe you can write down on a piece of paper what you're releasing, like Megan did, and then what you're wanting to believe instead, and what you're wanting to receive instead in your life. Okay, so you have that ready, and you can take whatever I've shared, put that in your hands, and then add more of your own affirmations. This is energy, this is frequency that you're putting back into your body, and you get to receive that in frequency. Okay.
So good. So good. Thank you so much. This has been
welcome.
A great conversation. I love that practice. I'm absolutely going to be doing it. As we wrap up here, please share with the audience what your complimentary gift is.
Great. Thanks so much. It is day 1 of the 12-day series of Soul Rebirth. It is really the whole activation series is a series to open up your heart. It's to open up the heart and begin to receive higher frequencies, soften the walls of the heart and help those walls to come down. It's to promote healing, it's to promote expansion, and it definitely is going to shift your frequency.
Awesome.
Free, and I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, I would love to have your feedback on that. If you want to send me an email, let me know how that went for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. For the audience, you can find that link below this video here. And thank you all for being here with us on Awakening Sacred Sacraments and Expanded States of Consciousness as a Path to Enlightenment and Unity. Bye for now.